Hi Scorpio, welcome to your end of May 2020 General Tarot Update. It's Rena here. So I was just laying out the cards, I got interrupted. I'm recording this today on the new moon in Gemini, which happens to be your 8th house, the house that you rule. So maybe you're the phoenix rising from the ashes. Ooh, I'm going to take out two. Seems like it came out that way. Okay. The heart of the matter is the Five of Wands. This can sometimes be conflict of some sort, but it can be very stimulating competition. Competition isn't always bad. Sometimes it is like if you're working with other people who are top-notch, it forces you to bring your A game. And so you feel very stimulated in such an environment. And certainly, you know, this is fire energy. Your ruler, you have two rulers. One is Pluto and one is Mars. And Mars is the ruler of Aries, very gung-ho, ambitious. And that can give you that sense of, I would say, drive, but even momentum in some cases. And that's not a bad thing. You know, if you feel like you have to constantly be on top of your game, that can be a good thing instead of being complacent in a work environment where everybody's just mailing it in. It doesn't have to be bad. So I don't look at competition always as terrible. If there is this sense of a dog-eat-dog environment, though, where it's toxic competition, then that's a different story. In personal relationships, this can be like kind of maybe like, I don't want to say fighting for your love, but let's say you're dating somebody and they want to keep it more, you know, kind of open-ended, because perhaps it is just the beginning stages and they don't want to get serious yet. And you're kind of like fighting for their affection and they have other suitors. I know I sound like I'm in the 1800s or something, but you know what I'm saying. Just kind of like that. And it doesn't have to be bad, but you can feel this sense of excitement. It might even be with a Leo. We have this in the past position. Also just love. This is a great card for success. And joy, love, creativity, healing, that kind of thing. So there might be just a sense that life is feeling adventurous, feeling like you're in a great place where you feel successful and you feel like maybe a sense of buoyancy in your life, and that's a great thing if you're in love. And the higher message is the moon. The moon can sometimes indicate that there is more going on beneath the surface than you know. It's funny that you get the sun and the moon kind of like as bookends with this Five of Wands. So if you're in a situation where you had love at one time and now you're having bickering, fighting type of thing, there might be a reason for it. You might think that, oh, you know, this is just part of the phase of love where first everything is all roses and then, you know, you come back down to earth and there's more of the conflicts that are normal in relationships. Well, be careful, because it could be that the other person is picking fights because they are doing something that is not quite on the up and up. Sometimes people accuse others of what they are doing, and that is, you know, kind of an MO of some people to try to get people off the scent of the trail. You know what I mean? So you have to realize that a person who is, if you feel like your partner is being argumentative, picking fights, there might be an underlying reason for that. Also, I would say with the moon card, yeah, like deception. Now, if you're the Scorpio can be the kind of person who falls in love and then they start to fear that that person is going to abandon them, is going to leave, and then you might be the one that is creating the friction with your suspicious nature. So you have to own it if you are doing something that is going to create problems in the relationship because of your insecurities. What crosses you is the Ace of Cups. So we're talking about a love getting off the ground. So interesting. Is this a glorified, oh gosh, I'm going to cringe saying this. Is this a glorified booty call? Is this something where you think it's love and it's not? I trust Scorpios more than that, but who knows, you know? Perhaps you're just very into this person and you think it's love. You know, it's interesting when I'm doing personal readings and I'm looking at Venus and Mars, when there's a conjunction between Venus and Mars. So typically this will be if your Venus and Mars are in the same sign, but it has to be within a certain degree, but it doesn't have to always be the same sign. It can be the adjacent sign. But if you know your chart, look and see, that can sometimes indicate somebody that confuses love with sex. So in these instances, these are the types of relationships where the sex is good, but outside of that, the relationship is really combative. The people don't see eye to eye. Their differences create sexual sparks, but it doesn't translate into an overall love relationship. And, you know, it is what it is. It doesn't have to be the end of the world. You know, eventually one or both parties will acknowledge this and they will move on. But just, you know, kind of explaining why that Five of Wands may be the case. Also, this, for the workplace, this can be a situation of having success at the expense of your true love, which is creativity, of not having, or even like the spiritual. Because sometimes I think some people, it's not just about the money, but they love that competition. There's that drive in some people to always challenge themselves. Excuse me. And I think that's fine. It's just that some people are more sensitive than they realize, and they don't know how adversely it's going to affect them until they really put themselves out there, and then they realize, wow, this is not for me. This is something that is way too unpleasant and that sort of thing. What is coming in is represented by the Knight of Pentacles. This can be the sign of Taurus, which is your opposite sign. If this is a work-related matter, you may just like, what's that expression, you know, nose to the grindstone. You're just kind of like minding your own business, doing what you need to do. Maybe you have a financial goal. If you are going to leave a workplace, you're not going to necessarily do it now. You're just going to you know, make as much money as you can in order to move on to the next phase. If this is a relationship, it could be with somebody who's more stable. If you're involved with a fire sign, it can be very passionate and sexy, but it can also be rather chaotic, unstable, where you don't really have that sense of you getting along at a deep level. And it can show up in terms of your ability to make it work in the long haul. It could be one of those brief flings that really burns brightly but burns out, you know. And not to say that that would be true of every relationship you have with a fire sign, but just saying that in this particular instance, it may be a little bit too hot to handle. Another card came out at the same time, the Chariot card, which is connected to Cancer. This could be a timing card as well. But the Chariot is about success, about victory, and that sense of like getting your life in order, maybe, you know, of having your mind set on one thing. Maybe personal problems have affected your home life. Or if you're with an insecure person, your professional success created problems within your personal relationship. And you're not going to allow anybody to derail your success. So the other person may have felt inferior because you've been experiencing so many successes. The outcome is a Ten of Pentacles, and this is a card of a financial. This is definitely a great card for family, wealth, inheritance. Yeah, I didn't think about it in that terms. The inheritance issues, you know, that sense of fighting amongst other people with money. Let's see, what is your 8th house? What is your 8th house? I'm trying to remember. Okay, what sign am I doing again? Scorpio. Oh my gosh. Gemini. Okay, well, I'm recording this on the new moon in Gemini, and the 8th house is the house of inheritances. So maybe something's getting resolved at this time. Oh, Venus is retrograde there. Okay, well, Venus is going direct at the end of June. So definitely some Scorpios could be experiencing some kind of money situation, dealing with inheritance. But this looks like it would be in your favor. Because of the Chariot and the Ten of Pentacles. Just a good money card in general. And good for relationship issues. Good for a relationship that is a long-lasting relationship. Definitely Earth sign, I'm feeling. So Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, that sort of thing, perhaps. Okay, Scorpio, that's what I have for you. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you would like a personal reading, the link to my online ordering page is below. Take care. Bye.